have to prove to socialists that their system doesn't work? How many times do you have to prove that if you cut tax rates for everybody, revenues increase to the government? How many times when you increase taxes, the revenues coming into the government decrease? Now, do you think there's a wealthy person out there that doesn't have a tax haven somewhere? Not that it's illegal, because it certainly isn't. If I were a wealthy person, I certainly would have money offshore, because you got to protect it from this tax and spend, well, like I said, prick. You got to protect your money from this tax and spend prick, because he's going to try to do everything he can to get his hands on it. When are you people going to understand that, no matter how hard you try to stick it to, quote unquote, the man or the rich, it always winds up screwing over the little guy.
Absolutely, because the little guy, and this goes back in history, for basically the entire history, excuse me, the entire history of humanity. And in the entirety of the history of humanity, there have always been those who had more than these. Mm-hmm. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's not a crime.
No, it's not.
And while you may think it's unfair outcomes, we promised you fair outcomes, just fair opportunity.
Right. There's nothing fair in this world. Mm. But so, if you go back and you look at Pharaoh had more money than the guys building the pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say King John had more money than Robin Hood. Robin Hood tried his best to take it. All right, here's the dogs out again.
All right.
Okay, but the point is, if you try to if somebody comes to you and says, Kerry, give me half of your money right now, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give them half of my foot in their ass.
Exactly. So if I've got $1 million, which I don't, by the way, for anybody who might be spying on me out there, if I had $1 million and somebody comes up to me and says, give me half of your money so I can give it to people who didn't earn it,
mm-hmm.
which is basically what's being said here, I would say, screw you. I will figure out a way to hide that money so you can't take it. Mm-hmm. So instead of having that money, which I might have spent somewhere on something, or at least had in a United States bank so that it was in circulation,
mm-hmm.
I've hidden the money away so you can't take it, which takes it completely out of circulation, which means it's not helping the economy any longer.
Exactly.
I've explained this so many times.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that there's an estimated $500 billion in liquid cash that's sitting on the sidelines right now.
Right.
That people are not investing or not spending because they're not certain where we're going.
Yeah. There's no until people get off their lazy asses and pay attention to what's actually going on. And this I don't know, maybe it's just me, but isn't there a thing out there called the principle of cause and effect?
Mm-hmm.
That this action will cause this reaction and the effect will be this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
And then there's a corollary that goes along with that with the law of the unintended consequences.
Right.
Like, for example, back in my home state of Tennessee, some years ago, they passed a luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Just outside of Nashville are two huge lakes.
Right.
Okay? Elm Hill Lake and Old Hickory Lake. Now, on these lakes are two beautiful marinas that are chock full of luxury yachts.
Okay.
Somebody in the state legislature had a great idea that to help the state generate more revenue, they were going to impose a luxury tax. So if you bought one of these beautiful yachts, you're going to pay a substantially higher tax rate. Now, you are a wealthy man who has a 5-year-old yacht. Now, you're looking at replacing this yacht because, well, it's 5 years old and you are an avant-garde kind of guy and you like having the latest, greatest, newest equipment and all, and the fanciest boat in the marina. So you're here pricing a yacht, and then somebody says, oh, yeah, by the way, on top of the $5 million price tag for this lake-bound yacht, you're going to be taxed an additional 75% on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
What do? Well, as a rich guy, you say, hey, I've still got this 5-year-old yacht over here. You know what? I'm just not gonna buy that new yacht this year. So what happened? Well, you as the rich guy, you still got a nice, beautiful yacht. It's a 5-year-old yacht, but it's still a yacht, and it's very nice and luxurious, and it still goes across the lake just fine. Now, me, the guy working in the shop where we build these, well, now you and your friends aren't buying any new yachts, and now I'm out of a job. Now, I'm not a wealthy guy. I build yachts. I'm the cabinet maker. So now I'm not making cabinets because nobody's buying yachts. Now, this tax lasted for a couple of years before they finally figured out, hey, there's still these beautiful luxury yachts on the marina, but the tax isn't bringing in any money at all, and now not only that, we've increased unemployment because all the people who are building yachts and all the ancillary things that go with that, the cabinet makers, the engineers, the marine architects, the engine builders, they're all out of work now because nobody's buying new yachts. The rich are still rich, but now the middle class people are the ones that got screwed. So that was hastily rescinded.
Well, yeah. I mean, we
This
can make
is
the
clearest
point. We can make that point over and over with any example that you want.
Again, Tennessee, they tried a entertainment tax. If you're going to the movies or to a show downtown, the Grand Ole Opry, you're paying a higher tax percentage. Still, some people went, yes, but a lot fewer people went because it was getting too expensive. It doesn't matter how you try to soak the rich. It's always the little guy that winds up paying. Now, these people are talking about this tax rates are for those making $250,000 or more, right?
Right.
So, the alternative minimum tax started off as something that was just supposed to be for the wealthy. And now that they haven't adjusted that at all, there are a lot of more people starting to hit that. The income tax itself was started to tax only the top 1% when it first was proposed. Now it's the top 50% of us pay income tax, and the bottom 50% give Uncle Sam a short-term loan. So, I mean, it's a clear example. It's black letter. It's history. It's right here for you to see. What do you think you're going to do to the rich that it's not going to affect you? I mean, trickle-down economics, folks, that is a fact. It is a demonstrable fact. Now, am I all for, well, we don't need to tax the rich at all? No. Fair shares, what's fair share? If we all pay the same flat percentage of our incomes, the rich are still paying more, right?
Absolutely.
Because 10% of $100 million is a whole lot more money than 10% of $50,000.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, if we all pay the same percentage, but we get off on another tangent here. I know that's not where you want to go, but no matter how you try to stick it to the rich, the only people that wind up bending over are the middle class. The poor, they're still going to get their tax refunds at the beginning of the year, and they're going to go out and spend it like there's no tomorrow. Don't hate me for telling you the truth, people. I worked in the public service industry. I can tell it for a fact. January, February, March, those are the highest volume 3 months in the public sector.
That's true.
because that's when all the money comes back from Uncle Sam and all these folks that get these big refunds. So don't like me for telling you the truth. I don't give a damn. But that's the way it works. Meanwhile, all the people who have been paying taxes all year long, you might get back a couple $100, or maybe you even have to pay some. And for the wealthy, they usually wind up paying a big chunk. But, you know, no matter what you do, in the end, it's going to screw the little guy, the middle class people, not the poor. And the rich aren't going to be affected one way or the other. They're just going to keep their money in their havens where they are. They're going to drive their Bentley another year. They're going to have their luxury yacht for another year. And you're the one who's going to get screwed.
Yes.
Now, to talk about increasing taxes, Rick, I couldn't believe this when I heard it. You know, especially from one guy, you know, Saxby Chambliss out of Georgia, and Congressman King, Peter King out of New York. Two names I would never expected to hear say that they were going to go back on a pledge to not raise taxes. On the other hand, our buddy Lindsey Graham, we kind of expected.
Yeah, of course, because he's a wind blow kind of guy.
Well, it's not very close to the election time.
Yeah, he hadn't come flaming back to the right yet.
Right, is our beloved sponsor there, Wacko Toys, you know, the Lindsey Graham boomerang. You know, he's going to come flaming back to the right sometime in 2014.
Right. But
and he's going to expect us to not remember this.
Yeah, but let me just throw something out there.
Mm-hmm.
We, meaning you and I, back in our former life as hosts at the other place,
mm-hmm.
we made a promise that we would not forget all of the travesties that Senator Graham has perpetrated over the last 6 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever, go back into his first term.
Right.
We would keep you informed, keep you reminded of these. Okay? So, yesterday, it's going to be a short one, about 2.5 minutes here, but I feel the need to release a little bit here.
Give it to us straight, Doctor. We can take it.
You got it, babies. All right, so look. I've made a little post on Facebook. A one-sentence post. And all it said was, it's high time somebody reminded Lindsey Graham who he works for. I got some likes, several likes, you know, because I posted it in 3 or 4 different places. So I got 5 likes over here, 8 likes over, you know, like that. And then I get the naysayers. You can tell him whatever you want. He's not going to listen. And what was it? The guy called him our purple senator, is quaking in his boots at your wrath.
His loafers.
Yeah, the patent leather loafers. Look, and at the end of the day, I expanded on one of those posts to say, you're all a bunch of pussies. Okay, we're politically incorrect here. I can say that. You are a bunch of pussies. You do not have a big enough set to stand up to a 5'2" guy wearing patent leather shoes. Okay?
He was handpicked.
Yeah, handpicked by somebody's nose. The point is, there is nobody out there that is infallible. There is nobody that you can't take out if you focus and work together. Now, people of South Carolina, if you want rid of Lindsey Graham, this is what you got to do. First, you got to put all your penny-ante bullshit aside and focus on what's important, and that's getting somebody else like Jim DeMint in there, right? who's going to
I
actually
agree.
do what he says he's going to do and listens to you rather than working his own agenda, which because he knows better than you do what's good